Oh, Ubisoft, Ubisoft, Ubisoft. Hey everyone, welcome back to another Game Vault video. As always, I'm Captain Beefy with the Game Vault. We're going to talk about Star Wars Outlaws, which just came out. And yeah, things aren't going as well as we expected. So let's cue the music and we'll get right into it. Alright, so Star Wars Outlaws players instructed to start an entirely new game to prevent issues and progression blockers after the new patch. Ouch. So all those guys that got that 3 or 4 days of early access, that early access has not paid off, and you're going to have to repeat things and start over again, which sucks. I've been there. It really sucks when you lose progression in a game. It's frustrating. Sometimes it will, for me personally, just take me out of the game for, a day or two. It's like, I gotta just back off. I can't redo all that stuff again, especially if it's something silly like a server crash or, like an arc. That's frustrating. You're working hard, you're doing all kinds of stuff. You get a server crash and you're like, oh crap, and then there's a rollback of 3 or 4 hours. And you had been doing some grinding during that time or taming or whatever, and it's just, at that point, it's like, you know what? Let me just get my character back to base, make sure everything's safe, shut everything down, and I'm gonna go to bed, and we'll try it again tomorrow. But an email from Ubisoft or Massive Entertainment instructs Star Wars Outlaws players to start an entirely new game with a brand new save in order to prevent issues and progression blockers. So, ex-user Pirate Nation shared the email, which states, to best experience the Outer Rim, we rolled out a maintenance to make sure everyone is playing the latest version of the game. As one of the players affected who had access to an older version of the game, we are aware you might be encountering some issues after this recent patch. We sincerely apologize for any inconvenience this may have caused. From there, it instructs players to make sure they're playing with the latest patched version of the game, version 1.000.002. It then concludes, once you've confirmed you have the latest version, please start a new save to fully enjoy Star Wars Outlaws, as our team intended. If you continue on a prior save, you will unfortunately face issues and progression blockers. That sucks. I mean, yeah. That really sucks. That would frustrate me as a player, especially like getting early access to something, right? That, what is this? Yeah, there it is. Anyway, tells you how to do it there. But that would frustrate me as a player. It's one thing if it's something I did. I screwed up and forgot to save before I went to a hard area, something like that. That could be frustrating. Like I was talking about earlier, the server crashes or whatever, you're playing on a server and that crashes. That's frustrating and aggravating. Part of the fun about getting early access to a game, and I've done this with a few games, is to get that head start over the rest of the community, right? Like, oh yeah. And even though this isn't a competitive game, this isn't an online game, this isn't multiplayer or anything like that, it's just like, hey, I got there 2 or 3 days early, and when you start off, I'm already going to be here, and, ha ha ha. Especially if you're a content creator, not to laugh, but to be able to have some content and to be ahead of the ball game a little bit's kind of nice. And if this is something that if you took time off for this game, like I say, took a couple days off so I could play it, and that's fine, get a big head start on it, that's awesome. And then they did this to you and you lost all that progression, that would really be aggravating. Because it's like it's wasted time at this point. On the Star Wars Outlaws Reddit, the email appeared to be corroborated with Administration Hour 84. The user titled a post, email from Ubisoft regarding new patch. In the body, he wrote, to all those I see stating they are stuck in space after a certain mission, this email talked about game progression blockage. They didn't specify, but the email said to start a new save file under 1.000.002, and it wouldn't happen. It also stated that even after downloading the patch, if you're playing in a save file that began under the old update, you would still get stuck. So in other words, we have to start a brand new game under the newest patch. I know it sucks, but I hope this helps. This is only for PS5 players, I believe, he concluded. Oh, I hadn't known that part. But in the comments, another user corroborated the email, Blood Saber Jedi Hunter. Yeah, I just got this email this morning. Wish I knew that before. I played 5 hours last night. Honestly, this game is testing my patience. He later added, not even a mention of compensation since we paid for 3-day early access. Later in the thread, he even suggested he might refund the game. I'd take some time in game cosmetics or whatever, but literally nothing. I might just refund since my enthusiasm play is gone. And I get it, right? You paid for early access. If you bought the $140 version, or $120 or whatever it cost, I might be exaggerating a little there, but if you bought that, part of what you got was early access, and you're entitled to that, right? As a consumer, you're entitled to that. You paid the money for it. That's part of the deal. Whether or not you cared about that so much, whether or not you just wanted the extra skins that came with that, or the extra mission, the season pass, whatever, early access was part of it. And to dedicate some time, whether it's 1 hour, 2 hours, 10 hours, 24 hours, you could have done a 24-hour stream as a streamer. You lost all that progression, and that sucks. And that's not fair. And Ubisoft should do something, but, will they? I don't know. Maybe they'll throw a bone out to everybody. I don't know, but things like that do frustrate, and sometimes it doesn't take much to appease players, I mean, some guys you're never going to appease. They're just going to rage quit and be gone, and I get it. That's an enthusiasm killer right there. 5 hours is a lot of time to dedicate to a game just to have it all wiped out the next day, especially if it's not your own. Like, if it's your own dumbness that did it, right? You try to do something in a game. Like, let's go back to Ark, for instance. You spent 5 hours breeding up some stuff to take into a boss fight, but you forgot to put saddles on it. Well, that's your own dumbass that screwed that up, and you got no one to be mad at but yourself. But, this is something that's completely out of your control here. One user in the thread also claimed the patch still blocked players from progressing in the game, which appears to be after players leave the planet Toshara and then attempt to return to it. As for what happens in-game, user CryoShirt stated, "You tested it, and just going to my ship, then taking off and trying to land again, it physically won't let me, so I need to restart my 7 hours of progress. What a load of crap." Ow. He later elaborated, "It triggers anytime you go into space. If you're before the mission false flag, that mission will trigger the bug since you're to go to space, to a space station, do things, leave, then come back to Toshara. The game won't let you no matter how close you get to the planet. Any subsequent space travel, even in free roam without a quest, will also trigger the bug if you're still playing with your 1.0 save." It's a shame you can't just make a patch to fix that. I'm no game designer, programmer, or anything like that, so I don't know what caused this, how it could have happened, and all that. If there's any way to back it up, I mean, honestly, I don't know. But it's a shame that they can't fix that somehow for all these players. That's aggravating. Am I laughing about it? No, not for the players' sake. I feel bad because, again, it sucks. But here's Ubisoft, screwing things up again. I heard, and I haven't done the research yet, but I'm going to look into it in the next couple days. I heard the pre-order sales were way down from what they were stating or anticipating, and that the game is not doing that great. We'll look into that in a future video over the next couple days, though, when we get a little more data and after the actual full release. I don't believe the full release has occurred yet. It's the 30th, and we're filming this on the 28th. So, yeah, we got a couple more days before we see all of that, and we'll maybe get some real numbers and data and all that. But the game-breaking bug should have been caught beforehand, and the game never should have shipped or been sold. In fact, Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot was questioned about the game's quality and whether the company would delay the release of the game to fix a number of issues gamers noticed in a 10-minute gameplay trailer published on the IGN YouTube channel. He made it very clear the game was not going to be delayed. The game has gone gold, so the date is well confirmed for August 13th, as you mentioned. We'll be showcasing more content of a very high quality, multiple hours, that will really show the depths of the open world. That is a key element of the promise to enjoy exploration of the galaxy and with multiple planets, so that will bode well for the game in terms of high quality delivery. I thought this was releasing on the 30th. I must have my numbers mixed up with something else. So many releases coming up. In any case, the company's chief financial officer, Frederic Duget, also added, "We've said also for Star Wars, the level of quality of the world and the experience is really very high. We're really leveraging our engine, and I think people will love it." Until they run into a bug like that. When people run into a bug like that, there's going to be, again, it's always a game of percentages, right? A certain number of people are going to just walk away from the game and refund it and be like, you know what, screw this, I'm done. I'm frustrated, I'm pissed off, and blah, blah, blah. Those are the reactors. Then there's going to be other people that are like, all right, well, I'm going to wait a little bit, see if they can fix it. If they can, great, I'll continue playing. If not, then I'll have to start a new save, but I really don't want to go back to it right now, so they're going to drop off for a little while. Then you're going to have the diehard people be like, oh, damn it, that sucks, but I'm going to start over again. I enjoyed that first part anyway, and maybe I can make my character a little bit better and be a little more awesome this time around. I don't know. We'll see. So, what do you guys think of Star Wars Outlaws? Have you guys played it at all? Anyone out there played it? Again, it's not a game I'm done supporting Ubisoft for a while until they get things figured out and maybe turn the corner on all this DEI garbage. But if you bought the game, I hope you're enjoying it very much. It's looks like a game I would have enjoyed had it been done, just a little differently and maybe by a different company or maybe back in the day a little bit more. But all this DEI crap and that Ubisoft's delivering with, I'm over it. And their predatory practices with microtransactions are terrible, and the fact that you just don't even own a game that you buy from them anymore. Ubisoft's really failing on a lot of different levels, and it's frustrating. Hopefully, as a company, they can bring things, improve things and regain some of their glory day status with the gaming community. Otherwise, they're going to fail, and they'll have to sell off IPs, or they'll just, a bigger company will take them over one day. Who knows? Anyway, if you haven't done so, please leave a like on the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and to ring that bell for notifications. I will see you guys next time. Until then, peace.